All right, my bows and bow ties. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another chit chat with me. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as About. I typically like to do these videos right before I'm putting my kids on the bus. The reason why I do this is because it bounds my time. And this is the only way I can force myself to be consistent at this point because I'm limited for time in the evenings. So, all right, so this is what I'm going to do. I actually got up this morning, did something different. I actually checked social media. So I was on TikTok. I had gotten some extra sleep. So I just scrolled through TikTok and I came across the video. But before I showed this little video or little whatever it is, let me just say, go ahead and subscribe because you know you like me. Go ahead and just hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I already know in advance. I already know. All right. So, anyway, I just want to say for the record, let me see if I can have another banner here. Let me just throw this up there. I'm gonna throw this up real quick. Fair use, okay? Fair use. So I'm gonna use the video of something that I thought was really interesting, only because I've had conversations about such language, which seems totally relevant. All right. Oh yeah. For those of you who joined in, this is the thumbnail you selected. So if you are a smart person or have any kind of like intuition or anything, these words are going to come up. So anyway, I just took pleasure in basically doing this short little video here or grabbing this video because I'm like, didn't I just have this conversation? So let me go ahead and throw this up here real quick.
That feminine and masculine be eradicated from everyone's vocabulary.
Start all over there.
As president of the world, I'm decreeing that feminine and masculine be eradicated from everyone's vocabulary.
Madam President, I would like to also add that the words dominant and submissive be stricken from the English language, as well as all references to a table, citing sources of mass hysteria and confusion from the straight community.
Madam President, following his motion to remove those words from the English language, I would also like to present a proposal for us to remove the words simp and pandering from the English language as it pertains to protecting Black women.
Good evening, Council. I'd also propose to remove the words high value and low value as it pertains to people, especially Black people, because that was once a language used by slave masters towards Black people. I think we'd be better off as a community if we stop using those words about each other.
Now, when I first started listening to this, I was like, did somebody listen to my conversation? Because I'm like, I've had several conversations with people in the past about, like everyone is like calling people names and oh my goodness.
Thank you.
As the Secretary of Misandry, I would love if we could add to the agenda that we prohibit the use of the phrase gay agenda, as well as any man referring to himself as an alpha male, get all recording devices in his possession revoked. Effective immediately, yes.
Additionally, Madam President.
Any man referring to himself as an alpha male, get all recording devices in his possession revoked.
One more time.
An alpha male agenda, as well as any man referring to himself as an alpha male, get all recording devices in his possession revoked. Effective immediately, yes.
Additionally, Madam President, I would like to request effective immediately that we discontinue the use of the term ride or die, as it perpetuates the idea of struggle love and that we need to accept the bare minimum and endure trauma from our partner over and over again in order to prove our love. Thank you.
Now, let's throw that back up there. So, for those of you who are familiar with me, I told you that I first got on YouTube and I really started listening to some of the videos out there, right? Because in the past, I would like get on YouTube occasionally and look up something. But then I started really getting on YouTube, probably during the pandemic. But I started my channel in August of 2021. And much of what was coming into my timeline at the time was stuff on the manosphere. But I didn't know any better because I would catch only clips of, because every once in a while someone would say something reasonable. But then it started, like, once I really started listening in, it was just toxic, right? And then you got the women who are like, they just are man haters and you had the men who really were just like, it was like an embarrassment to the community, right? So then I started hearing all these names and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is a simp? And everybody was a beta and an alpha all at the same time. Is everybody's got value, high value, no value, low value? It's like, oh my gosh. And so anyway, I had to stop listening to the content because once I started to actually listen with intention, I was like, this is hateful, hateful. And no matter how many ways people want to slice it, whether they call themselves part of all these different pills or whatever, like that, right? I realized I was like, okay, this is so damaging. All the people that I thought were reasonable, stop listening to them. Got them out of my timeline. You know, it took some work because I didn't know how YouTube worked at the time. But anyway, what I wanted to say, since let me just say this. I do agree with removing these words. We need to get these out of our language for right now. I think they're overused. I think that the messaging is wrong. This is the messaging. Go ahead. This is the messaging that we're pushing out to everyone in the community. If you're not this, then you're this, and it's like the constant barrage of negativity. So now people are trying to assign characteristics to you. If you don't fit their agenda, their narrative, you are a simp. You are low value. You are not feminine enough. And there's words like submission, stuff like that. So that's enough. No. So sorry, I had to do the You know what that is? The AHT, the So anyway, getting back to that, I loved that video compilation because it's necessary. And what happens is I am finding that most of the people using these words, like they don't even have their own talking points. Everyone's like repeating the same talking points from everybody, right? Like there's no, I don't know, there's nothing fresh about it. So it's just easier for everyone to say, oh, you're this, you're that. I actually find that it's non-productive. We are using these words to label our people. We're not doing anything productive. We're not. We would rather spend all day on these apps calling each other names than going out there reading a book and get educated and saving money and trying to purchase land and homes. And let me tell you, if you're paying attention to what's happening in the news right now and just in America, look at what's happening. Land is not affordable in many places. Homes are not affordable. The people who can, right? They're going out and buying up all these developed properties, these homes, they're buying the land. And then there's people who in mass now are like, I can't afford to buy a home or land or whatever. I think we should be focusing on those things, educating ourselves, purchasing land, purchasing homes, traveling and learning, right? When you are exposed to other things other than your immediate community, that is where you learn a lot. I remember when I sat in on, it was a seminar for, I believe it was Google. Let me go ahead and change my banner. I think it was Google. And I remember Google was talking about how they, when they hire on people. Now check this out. When they hire people, they're trying to hire with a level of diversity. Now listen to this. They said diversity is not just race, right? They're trying to be diverse in socioeconomic too. Now I'm paraphrasing, right? Because you can have someone who's well off that's Black or white, and then someone who's not. And how they think about things is different, right? There's ways of accomplishing tasks that oftentimes, if you're taught one methodology by the wealthy, then you're going to keep doing it that same way. And the same thing goes for those who are coming from, some austere environments, right? Some really bad environments or poor environments. I shouldn't say bad. Some of them are bad. So there's a way that they're going about doing certain things. And they're bringing in new ideas and new methodologies, right? So, and then they look at not just men, they look at women. And check this out. They said they don't even like to source from the same schools if they don't have to, because those schools have a certain way of doing things. You get real ingenuity and groundbreaking things or whatever when people are coming from multiple areas, right? Multiple schools, multiple methodologies, right? So they don't want people just from, like, let's say, like an Ivy League school, like, because those Ivy Leagues aren't necessarily where most of the I call it new, what word was I using for that? But you don't typically go to like an Ivy League if you're trying to do cutting edge things. That's more for networking. That's more like if you want to be a lawyer or something, right? Where am I going with this? We need to be more productive by exposing ourselves, traveling when we can, taking advantage of free education and certificates or whatever. We have access to data out here. If you can find a way to get access to a phone, you have ways of getting access to data. We should be, look, I understand that there's always an edge case and there's always economic stuff. But like I said, if we have time to go out there and engage in some nefarious activity, we have time to go engage in learning something at the library, using our internet, or go sitting in a cafe or somewhere and borrowing somebody's internet. So if you're mad, you're mad. Be mad. I don't care. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting, and we can continue to make excuses. We already know that the situation is all effed up. But using this language, using these words on each other over and over and over again, we are basically brainwashing each other into negativity and into a way of thinking that's not helpful. And not only that, Black people, as far as I know, I'm only going to speak for Black people, I don't see other races getting out here on these apps and in the media going in on their own people. People think like this over shaming thing like works. I'm like, it clearly is not. How is this working out? Talking about each other like this, treating each other bad? How is this working out for us? I don't see it helping anyone. Let me play this one more time.
As president of the world, I'm decreeing that feminine and masculine be eradicated from everyone's vocabulary.
Madam President, I would like to also add that the words dominant and submissive be stricken from the English.
I mean, like, how can you talk about domination and submission when we don't even like each other? How can you want somebody to submit to you and you don't even like the people? You don't even like the women. And there's nothing to submit to. Nothing to submit to. We need our men to level up. I know that. As creative and talented as they are, they need to level up. Level up.
English language, as well as all references to a table, citing sources of mass hysteria and confusion from the straight community.
Madam
It's true. Now, look, I'm a full-on Christian and stuff like that, right? That's it, and stuff like that. But let me tell you something. I don't understand why people are scared of the alphabet community, as they call it. Look, I can't police what people do in their private lives. I just don't understand why I need to be scared of them. It has nothing to do with me. But people are just on something.
President, following his motion to remove those words from the English language, I would also like to present a proposal for us to remove the words simp and pandering from the English language as it pertains to protecting Black women.
Good evening, Council.
Yes. Like, there is this thing out there where it's kind of like, if you want to protect Black women, it means that you're like this awful person. These are some unhealthy individuals. Unhealthy.
Also propose to remove the words high value and low value as it pertains to people, especially Black people, because that was once a language used by slave masters towards Black people.
And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. People want to call somebody low value. Who are you to determine everybody's value, right? And I feel like we are just constantly just like reinforcing, like, actually white supremacy, if you ask me. We are like literally broken people.
I think we'd be better off as a community if we stop using those words about each other. Thank you.
As the Secretary of Misandry, I would love if we could add to the agenda that we prohibit the use of the phrase gay agenda, as well as any man referring to himself as an alpha male get all recording devices in his possession revoked. Effective immediately, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm like, look, we need to change the messaging and how we're talking to each other, because it's clearly not working. All we're doing is going out of our way to damage each other. Number two, I think we need to find ways of being more productive with our time. So if we're going to use these apps, let's use these apps to educate and inform. Why do we have to sit here and constantly bash each other? It goes on both sides, actually. But as a Black woman, I'm definitely obviously going to be more biased to calling out, like, hey, let's cut this out, Black men. Start holding yourself accountable. You need to stop worrying about holding Black women accountable and hold yourself accountable. Level up, get your education right, acquire some land, make more money, find a way to get a home, look out for your health. Okay? Stop worrying about Black women. You need to start worrying about yourself. Let Black women start worrying about Black women. Okay. That's what I think. We need to change our messaging, and we need to be more productive. We need to do things like acquiring land. We need to get our finances right. Purchase homes. Education. We're not going to demonize education. It's like the most ridiculous and most disgusting thing that people are finding ways to demonize education. I never thought I'd see the day where now people are like trying to treat like education as if it's a dirty word. Get yourself together. And then we just overall need to stop doing this. We're the only race of people that seeks validation outside of our community. Well, let me rephrase that. I shouldn't say the only, but we do it a lot. We literally go out of our way to tear down each other in the media and to other people. And how many times have I heard a Black guy say something like, hey, when I'm talking to white men and other people outside the community, I'm like, see, that's where you went wrong already. See, because Black women don't go out of their way to talk about Black men to white women and everybody else. We don't care. We don't care because we're like, it's our own business, right? But when you are a ding dong and you continuously seek validation from the white man, well, they say that sisters have attitudes. I'm like, get out of here with that. I'm like, at the end of the day, no matter how much you want to sit there and tear down a Black woman, you're the one who hasn't leveled up. You're the worst in every single category. And actually, if you look at the data, you're trending backwards. So, all right, what's going on with my hair situation? I got to wash this product out of my hair. I can't even do it because it's like got product built up. All right, whatever. All right. Look, let me go ahead and get off this app. It's time for me to get on up out of here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And let me go get my kids ready and get on this bus. Black opinionated woman out.